And there was a man who lived in Holland, and his name was Dirk Willem. And Dirk, somehow he actually found God, and he was trying to obey God, but the word kind of filled it up with the powers that be, that Dirk had kind of converted to something other than the state religion, and so they hired, they used to have on the payroll, they called them thief catchers. They were people who were on the payroll of the state, and their job was to find people who were thieves or who did bad things, and to track them down, grab them, and drag them back into the town square so that they could have a trial and be punished. And when the politicians heard about what was going on, they went to the thief catcher and they said, "Go get Dirk Willem." Well, the man that they hired to go get him was relatively well known, and when Dirk saw him coming, he ran. And the thief catcher was like, "I'm running after you. I'm used to running after people. Trust me. Nobody really willingly goes with me." So they ran, it's wintertime, it's cold, they're running across, fields of snow and frost and everything. And then finally, Dirk ran across an ice-covered river. And the thief catcher was right behind, but when Dirk reached the other side, he kind of heard a crack and then a splash, and he looked down. And then the thief catcher had fallen through the river. Falling through the ice into the river. Just hanging on with his hands. The current was trying to pull him. It was clear he wasn't going to be able to hold on long, and he couldn't climb out. And Dirk looked at that scene and thought, what should I do? Should I, have a worship service? Thank you, O God, for delivering me from the wicked thief catcher, who you're about to drown in about a minute or two. But Dirk didn't do that. But what Dirk did is he got down on his belly and he kind of shimmied out there and he reached out and he grabbed the thief catcher's hand and he managed to pull him out of the hole and back to safety. And the thief catcher was blown away and he said, "You just go and I'll go back and find these kids." See, Dirk Willem was just showing grace. I mean, you're trying to catch me for no good reason. You're trying to imprison me for no good reason. Your design is only evil toward me. And what you really deserve is you deserve the judgment you're about to get. But I am not. No, I'm not going to give you what you deserve. I'm going to give you what you most need at this moment. I'm going to reach out my hand. I'm going to pull you out. I'm going to rescue you. And what Dirk did is what John is saying Jesus did. What Jesus was like. He was just like, "Man, I'm not about what you deserve. I'm about what you need, in spite of what you deserve." And John's like, I got to tell you, this is one of the big points. Jesus is full of grace. And then he says, I got to tell you, I got another big point. I don't want you to miss this one either. Because not only is Jesus full of grace, this grace overwhelms sin. Boy, there's an ugly word. Sin. You know the word sin, all it means is to miss the mark. Anybody here ever miss the mark? Yeah, I know the kind of spouse I should be, but kind of miss the mark sometimes on that one. I know the kind of parent I should be, child I should be, but sometimes I kind of miss the mark on that one. I know the kind of morals I should live by, but sometimes I kind of miss the mark. I know the kind of thoughts I have sometimes. Anybody ever miss the mark? I'm going when I miss the mark way too frequently. And when we miss the mark, it does damage to us, to others we're in relationship with. It does damage to the heart of God. But here's what John is saying. The damage that is there, because we miss the mark and the way we live, this grace I'm talking about overwhelms it. Translators really struggle with the first part of that verse. From the fullness of His grace, we have all received one blessing after another. It literally, here's exactly what it says in the Greek. It says this. It says, from His fullness, we have all received. And grace upon grace. So remember I just told you, He was full in grace and truth, and we received grace and we received truth. But the thing that blew me away is that the grace was bigger than the truth. We got grace after grace after grace after grace. It would never go away. It would never get used up. Every time Jesus turned around, He was doing a grace thing for somebody. John saying, I was with him really early on, and one day we were traveling around, and there was this guy. His name was Levi. A lot of you know him as Matthew, and he was a despised, corrupt, wicked businessman. He was working for the Romans to extort his countrymen in order to make a living, and we despised him for it. He had no morals, no sense of loyalty, no sense of country. He made our lives harder in order to have his wallet be fat. And this guy deserved to be punished. And Jesus came up to him and said, hey, why don't you follow me? And I'll give you a destiny you can be proud of. And we all shook our heads and went, what? Grace. And then another time we saw this furor kind of happening, and we went over to see what was going on, and they flung this woman down in the midst of this big crowd, and it was discovered she had been caught in the very act of adultery. And according to the laws of our land, she should be stoned and die, and we all had lots picked up, and we were going to have at it. And somebody said, Jesus, you're going to participate. And he just went down, and he wrote some stuff on the ground. And one by one, everybody else dropped their rocks, and they walked away until it was just Jesus and her. And he said, where are your accusers? And she said, I guess I don't have any. And Jesus said, are you ready for this? He said, neither do I condemn you. Now go and try not to miss the mark again. And then it was like at the end of his life, they took him and they beat him and they nailed him to a cross, naked and bloody and in shame. And while they're nailed to the cross, he's going, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. It's like every time we turned around, it was grace. And it was grace. And it was grace. And we were blown away. The law was given through Moses. But grace and truth came through Jesus. We say, look, I know the law. The law is easy to understand. It's cause and effect. Keep me and live, don't and die. And for anybody self-aware, that's actually bad news. But somehow Jesus married truth with grace. He didn't discard truth. He didn't minimize truth. In fact, when it came to the truth about us, he actually let us know that we had missed the mark more than we actually thought. Because he would say things like, you've heard that you're not supposed to murder? Yeah, that's right, we're not supposed to murder. None of us have, yeah. And he would go, if you have hatred in your heart for another person, you've committed murder in your heart. And we were like, and he said, you know how it said, don't commit adultery? Yeah, that's right, adultery, that's horrible, that's what you get. Jesus goes, I'm telling you right now, if you lust in your heart, you've already committed adultery on the inside. And they were like, I said, you know how you're supposed to love your neighbor? Yeah, we love our neighbor. I tell you, you're supposed to love your enemy too. The person who's making your life absolutely the most miserable. You love them and pray for them no matter how they treat you. What? Jesus said, look, I'm not compromising reality. In fact, I'm going to help you understand the truth. Including the truth about yourself in a way you've never understood it before. And when Jesus did that, He showed me, He showed us all that we're actually bigger mess-ups than we thought we were. We are so far off the mark. We are so worthy of being condemned. But then, when He showed us how much we've missed the mark by, rather than giving us what we deserved, at that very moment, He gave us what we needed.